Standing here with Miss Charlotte Perez, running for at-large city council. How you feeling today?
Really good, super full. You know, Pueblo has that good food.
In your shirt, what would you say? What's the biggest problem Pueblo's faced with?
Well, right now I'm seeing the homeless, the heroin, and the roads.
Mark Aliff is a candidate for Pueblo City Council. Mark Aliff, he says that voters should support him because he's developed strong leadership skills as a sales manager in the auto industry, and he knows how to manage multi-million-dollar budgets. Multi-million-dollar budgets. So he's been around multi-million-dollar budgets, right? So that's pretty impressive. He's 58 years old. I think he's against all the ballot questions. He's a conservative, a Republican, but not a Donald Trump Republican, a Mark Aliff Republican. And he is a used car salesman, or maybe it's a new car salesman. I don't know. But a car salesman running as a politician, what's not to love?
Because even though they're repairing them, I'm noticing some of the...
I just asked you for one. No.
Oh, sorry.
What's one? I'm kidding with you. But all those are important. But if you picked one issue, then what would you do about it?
Well, the homeless, we need to find somewhere for them to go because it's starting to get, colder.
Do the homeless people have any place to go?
No, they don't.
Where are they living?
They were living in a camp that I was told that got torn down, which is very unfortunate because they already don't have anywhere else to go.
What about that one house that we just saw that had all those heroin needles?
Aliff wants to go through the budget line by line. Great line, and that's exactly what any person should do. Every single city council should be going through that budget line by line. And he says that he's against the tax to get more police officers, and he's against the tax to fix the streets because he's anti-tax. He's saying that the local economy is booming. So the business community is all in unison saying fuck no to all the goddamn taxes. They don't want any single tax whatsoever. And his main reason is there's a projected surplus. There's going to get more revenue. It's projected, so it's not even in the coffers yet. But Sam Azad says there's about $7 million that Pueblo City will have next year that they don't have this year. And Mark Aliff's argument is, why don't we use that $7 million and spend it on the police and spend it on the street repairs?
Hello, Charlotte.
Hello.
Some people have been talking, they've been criticizing you. I'm just kind of curious, what do you think about haters in general?
So I feel like their focus should be on more productive and important matters. I feel bad that they would, feel any kind of way, maybe threatened or...
He actually thinks it's unfathomable. He's like, you're telling me that Pueblo City doesn't have enough money for police officers? He's calling bullshit on city council. They have the smallest budget out of the county, D60 and D70, but $81 million, so, large from a working class standard. And that's good. I like when it comes to pinching pennies, you should save money. You shouldn't just, go out and spend money willy-nilly. You should spend money on the essential services that we all need. And so that's what I think government is for, and that's what taxes should be for. So I don't mind paying a little bit of tax for services, for the police, for the other thing, the streets. I'm in favor of the street thing. I'm in favor of Question 300, which is also an increase of police, but they have to listen to neighborhood councils. And so I am for 300 over 2B.
So anybody that has anything to say about me is that I'm doing all the work in the community that they're not doing.
I think it's 2B, but there's two police officer questions on the ballot. One is the question 300, and then the other one I think is 2B, and that's a small sales tax increase. I want to say it's like a half or a quarter cent, very tiny, small incremental increase in order to get 24 new police officers, which would go under the jurisdiction of Sam Azad and Troy Davenport, the brand new police chief. So when you look at the two questions, if you want to think of them as competing, they could actually work in tandem with one another, or, there's lots of ways to think about it. But when you look at the two, and if you think of them as competing, then Troy Davenport or Sam Azad, you're going to give him 24 police, or are you going to give Jenny Paulson 24 police? So who deserves 24 police more, or both, neither? What do you think? That's the question Pueblo City is being confronted with. What else does Mark Aliff believe? As for the city's half-cent sales tax, this is all Peter Roper, too. He wrote this up. And Mark Aliff responded to the establishment media. He was like, yes, I'm part of the establishment media. And actually, I do get to read some of his ideas. But I don't know. I mean, I just know that this is through the prism of Peter Roper, whoever the hell Peter Roper is. So he's sitting there saying that there's a half-cent sales tax for job recruitment. I guess that's been passed. And I guess he was asking, well, will you undo sales tax? And so he's not going to undo the sales taxes, but he's not going to add any more. So I think that's a pretty good slogan for Mark Aliff. No new taxes, only he's going to be honest about it instead of, Daddy Bush. So no new taxes. He's principled, and I like that. I like that. I also like how he stood up against the ballot questions and the strange mayor. So he's a conservative. He's like, no. Aliff says that more police will mean less crime. So he's pro-police and he's pro-expanding the police department. He just doesn't want to raise any taxes. Now it says he would also create a reward system for the public to identify drug dealers and drug houses. So he's going to turn the entire city of Pueblo into a bunch of snitches. And then I guess the drug dealers and the drug houses are going to get fucked up. So he's in favor of the war on drugs. That's what I glean from that. On legal marijuana, he seemed to be more liberal. He seemed to be more accepting of marijuana. When I had talked to him, he had mentioned that there's 100 to 200 grows, all throughout Pueblo County. He recognizes that, free enterprise, and it's legal. The voters have already decided the thing. So, but here it says that it's too early to assess the impact of legal pot in Pueblo. Is it? Y'all had the drug problem beforehand, okay? Aliff does not support creating a strong mayor system in Pueblo. He's not into changing government system by mere ballot questions, especially unconstitutional, illegal provisions that should never have been asked in the first place. He says there's no evidence it's better than the council city manager form, which he absolutely is 100% right. There is no evidence. Actually, the evidence suggests it's the opposite. All the mayor systems are going towards the city manager systems. That's what they did. We had a mayor system in Pueblo City. We had a mayor system for 20 to 30 years, and then they changed it to a commission style of system, the same style of government that the county has right now, with the commissioners being both the executive and the legislature. And then they changed that system into the city manager system in 54, and this is where we are at today with the 54 charter. So it's revolutionary and progressive, and they're trying to kill. Aliff agrees with council's interest in finding an alternative to Black Hills Energy as the city's electric utility. They are Black Hills is about they're on the ropes. They are getting their fucking ass kicked, and it's in the middle of an election here. They have not done a good job with PR, and then wintertime's coming up, right? Black Hills Energy, they should sell them. I think it'd be fucking wonderful. Pueblo City is trying to become 100% renewable energy resource by 2035. That was under the Noel-Rocky court. Under the Noel-Rocky Azad court, they established by 2035 100% renewable energy. So that's fantastic. I mean, it's 2017. We only got 18 more years. So 18 more years, that's not much time. We need to get on this shit. How are we going to change, how are we going to get this 100% electricity? Solar and wind isn't going to be enough if we cut from Black Hills. We're all going to have solar power, battery-powered things in our houses. It's huge. This is huge. We're going to get off fossil fuels, or are we going to buy some other, energy fucking company? Are we going to make sure it's all just solar and wind? And what about if we have power outages? So this is a huge undertaking. This is fucking huge. There's switchblade grass, there's hydrogen, there's electric cars, there's lots of alternative form of energies out there. I'm not for sure which ones are the best deal, which one gives you the most bang for your buck. None of them compares to oil, not yet, or they're getting closer. I think Tesla, they do a pretty decent job. Everybody loves their electric cars. Anybody who buys electric cars absolutely loves it. Another thing I want to say about Black Hills Energy is that it's Charlotte Perez. She can't stand Black Hills Energy either, and they are both in agreement, along with Josh Bruns. So all three of, Mark Aliff, Charlotte Perez, and Joshua Bruns are in favor of Sweden's trash to electricity.